All right, in this recording, we're going to make a folder for our fifth grader, excuse me. And we have this big piece of tag board, and what I did is I folded it in half like this, and I believe for most of us, we did that the day before. And so what I'm going to do first is along this fold, which by the way, I took my finger now and drug it across to make that a nice tight crease here. I'm going to go ahead and make a 1.5 inch margin over here, and that's where we're going to bind it. But let's take a look at the ruler here. Let me see if I can get it out of this glare. There we go. We're getting there. Okay, maybe lower it down. Anyway, on the very edge of this ruler, we don't want to start measuring from here, but there is a little line right here. It's right by the word inch, and that's where the 0 is. So that's where we start measuring. That's where the crease is going to go. And we're going to go over to 1.5 inches. That's the long line between the 1 and the 2. So I will line my crease up with the 0 line. I'm going to go ahead and make a mark at 1.5. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and go down to the bottom and do the same thing. Anytime I make a straight line or measurement and I want it to be straight, I want to make sure and mark at 1.5 inches. And I want to make sure I also put 2 markings so that it is actually straight. So I've got that mark here, I've got the mark here. I'm going to go ahead and line my pencil up with the first mark and the top mark, and I'm going to go ahead and draw a line straight down. Okay, so this is my margin space, and in this space right here, I'm going to divide this into 3 columns and 3 rows. And so hopefully I did this measurement right. So I'm going to just check it out because I should have about 9 inches. Now since this is recycled paper, it's just a little bit off. And you know, it's just so close that instead of cutting all the papers, we're going to work with it. So I'm going to start with 0, and it is almost over to the 9. What I want to do is divide this into 3 columns. So 3 divided by 9 tells me that I'm going to make a mark at 3 and 6. So I'm going to do that at the top, and I'm going to do that at the bottom. There's a 3 and a 6 line. I'm going to go down to the bottom, and I'm going to make a mark at 3 and 6. And this will allow me to draw a straight line here, straight line here, and I now have 3 columns in this space. Okay, so turning it this way, we want to have 3 columns, or better yet, if it's this way, they're going to be rows. So I'm going to turn it. I'm going to go to the very edge of the folder, making sure I'm starting with that 0 line, and I'm going to make a mark at, well, we have to figure this out because, oh, it's not the same. This is 12 inches. So if we divide 12 by 3, we're actually going to make a mark at 4 and at 8 to make sure these spaces are even. Now remember, we're making straight lines. We want to make 2 measurements. So we're going to make a mark again at 4 and 8. Take your ruler and draw a line across here. And I'm going to draw a line across here. Now you notice I did not go through the margin. The margin stays empty right there. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the video because this is the first step in making your folder.